Hello, officer. How's the investigation going?
We are Linny and Lynette's attorneys.
Ah, I see. You must be the traveler that Lady Farina mentioned. Listen, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'd avoid getting mixed up in this whirlpool of a mess if I were you.
Huh? What do you mean?
Come with me and you'll see. The deceased is one of Linny's assistants named Cal. Even though he hadn't joined the troupe long, he was hardworking and everyone generally liked him. The assistants are usually in charge of setting up and inspecting the props, as well as assisting with the show and keeping the crowd engaged. As you probably saw when you were in the audience, the water tank suddenly fell and smashed the box with Cowl inside it.
Wasn't the girl supposed to be in there?
This is the real mystery. We've already searched the scene and were unable to find any traces of the girl. However, if you look carefully, the box was positioned directly under the water tank. The ropes holding the tank were then burned by the pyrotechnics on stage, causing them to snap. All these factors lining up so perfectly makes it hard to see this as a mere accident. If anything, the more logical explanation is that the whole incident was intentionally planned, and Linny is the most likely person to have access to all these areas.
But he doesn't have a motive.
Okay, I'm back.
I've pulled out
Are
my
you
note
both
block.
good friends of his?
Well, you can't say we're good friends, but we've known each other for a little while.
So in just a short time, he was not only able to win your trust, but even convince you to act as his attorneys. I know
was the
there's no
risk.
such thing as magic. The real trick of a magician is holding the audience in the palm of their hand. I've seen a lot of cases, and I can tell you that people are the least reliable kind of evidence.
It is true though.
Sorry, I tend to be pretty straightforward. Just know that I'm warning you for your own good. Anyway, you may investigate the scene of the crime yourselves if you're curious. Who knows, maybe you'll be able to come up with some new evidence.
Oh my god, we get a case file.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, I will have you know, when I first started Danganronpa, in the first case, this is a spoiler for everyone who has not played Danganronpa 2. When I started Danganronpa 2, Nagito was the first, like a suspect in a case.
Yeah.
And you know how I'm like the biggest Nagito simp out there?
Of course.
I poured like an hour of my life into going through all the possible theories that could have happened just so I could prove him innocent, and the story I settled on was the right one to the T, and I will pour that energy into this.
You know what? Fair enough. Go for it.
Okay. Case file. You can check it on Discord. These are truth bullets. Then investigate the corresponding area to locate them. Use the perception skill to find evidence and clues that can be investigated within a certain radius around. This is all Danganronpa. I'm sorry.
No, that's what a lot of people have been saying. I haven't played it, but...
Okay, yeah. I want to show you something before
Go on.
I do anything. Okay,
Welcome back, guys.
let's look at the clues.
Look at the body. The outline on the floor. It's so funny.
This is where the magic box was struck. If Carl weren't inside the box at that moment, he might have dodged the falling water tank. No? No one has instincts like that.
Spidey senses.
His spidey senses were tingling.
Yeah.
I kind of want the pop-ups like in Danganronpa where you examine something and then if you were right, you get a truth bullet and it like literally loads into your gun.
Oh.
Let's talk
Yeah,
to
maybe
some
not here.
people.
Oh gosh. Quentin and Va.
The investigation team has some new findings. Turns out there's an issue with the random number selector after all.
See, I told you. What if the machine picked some big guy's seat? You think the murderer would have still made his move then?
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Linny and Lynette with their side of the investigation. What were you saying about the number selector? There's something wrong with it?
You're trying to help them? That'll be a tall order.
Shut the fuck up. This is my job. This is what I get
Used
paid
the
for.
machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance, right? The lucky girl that later disappeared. Well, we thought there might be a serious problem with the machine, so we had it taken away for further inspection.
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. The machine picks that same number every time. I'm sure
That's
you already
fishy.
know that you have to make a reservation in advance to get a seat, regardless of whether it's a trial or some performance. In other words, Linny knew who would be sitting where from the very beginning.
Is that right?
That much checks out. Linny reserved our seats for us too.
Let you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Linny.
Thanks. I'm not sorry.
Even though it's bad for Linny's case, Paimon had better write it down.
I will also take note of that. Number tempered with... Okay. I already looked at this. I'm gonna look at the tank.
So this is the rope that broke and caused the water tank to fall. The rope looks pretty durable. How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks?
That doesn't sound like a thing. I think
Why
as a
you said
professional
this
he
is
would
serious, Traveler?
probably think about that too.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at where the rope snapped.
Whoa. Look! This bit is made from different material. Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left.
Seems to be flammable.
So if a rope meant to hold something was made with that kind of material in it, then that means... Wait, Paimon should write all this down. Let's take notes.
Rope. Flammable. Tempered? Question mark? You should have seen me play Danganronpa. I was invested.
Hello there. What are you investigating?
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the Magic Troop members are currently considered prime suspects. The investigation team is still collecting evidence. The seats were all booked in advance, so we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity by checking the guest list.
Reserved. Could you tell us who she
Sure,
is?
it's not like this is confidential information. We will publish it later anyway when we petition the public to help us find the missing person.
Missing person.
Her name is Halsey. She's a painter
The singer?
a bit of a name for herself. Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the opera house, but she'd been feeling
Oh my
some pressure
God.
in her life, which made her decide to come see the
Dark.
magic show.
Maybe I don't want to
Magic
find
Troop
her
members all
actually.
claim not to know her. We have looked into her social connections. It seems that she has no personal grievances or conflicts of interest with the suspects. Simply put, she wasn't related to the Magic Troop at all.
Okay, note
matches the features of the
Halsey
previous serial
in
disappearances.
parentheses the singer.
Were the victims of previous cases also chosen at random?
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of around the same age range, there really weren't any other connections between them.
Okay then.
Thanks for letting us know all
No
this.
need to be so formal. If you do happen to see the missing girl, please be sure to contact us. It is of utmost importance that we get to the bottom of these disappearances.
Okay. She seemed also very timid.
Yeah.
What else is there? What haven't I looked at? Huh? Oh, the magic box. The broken magic box was left on the scene after the guards completed their investigation. Looking at it now, the water tank must have struck it really hard. Okay. I guess I can go outside or something. I can look out this. It looks like an ordinary box, but Lenny someone moved instantly from the stage to being inside of it. How did he do it? Let's look at dude. Who are you?
I see that you're investigating the area. Well, it just so happens that I'm interested too.
Can you just let people
If you
into
find
a
any new and
restricted
interesting leads,
investigation?
Be sure to share them with me, alright?
We don't have too many thoughts yet.
I have no thoughts actually.
No thoughts, head empty.
Then why don't I tell you my hypothesis first? The way I see it. And I'll start it with that loud thud.
Mm-hmm.
The thud? Oh, you mean the sound that happened during the countdown?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, right!
It wasn't terribly loud, but I suspect that most people heard it. It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Lenny's trick with bated breath, so no one paid it much mind. But now that the incident has happened, the thud has become an important clue.
That makes sense. So, what do you make of it?
I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Lenny's accomplice. Lynette, perhaps. Jumping atop the water tank, or something like that. And when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope, sending the water tank crashing down.
It was burned.
Wasn't the noise we heard too loud for that?
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particularly rough landing.
Then wouldn't the water tank have started to swing a bit?
Oh, that's true. I suppose I must reconsider.
That does remind Paimon, though. What was with that sound?
Lenny's
It's
still
Molly.
talking to the guards. It seems he'll have a lot of explaining to do. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later, but that's alright.
Okay,
Hey, you! Yes, both of you! Over here!
Oh,
I've been keeping an eye on you for a while.
He's my favourite, the guy with the sunglasses. He's my absolute favourite.
That's right. If I'm not mistaken,
it's
you're
the Men in
also
Black.
among those who wish to
Yep.
cut down the thorns and pursue the truth. No? And by the looks of it, you're not from Fontaine.
Well, you're right on the more about that one, but who are you?
Have you never heard of the Spina di Rosula?
No.
From mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums, you name it, Spina di Rosula does it. And I,
It's the CIA.
have the honor of being
Yeah.
its renowned president.
I love her eyes. They're like child's if
So
he wasn't
those who play
traumatized.
by our rules call me boss.
No, thank you.
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
Silver the Hedgehog?
Sells various daily needs and affairs.
Why is he not silver?
That was weird.
It should be Silver and Shadow.
I am the second generation president. Malus and the others are still used to my previous title.
My apologies, demoiselle. Should you prefer, boss, I will endeavor to use that instead.
No, no need. You don't have to call me boss. Just Navia is fine.
Great. Hello, Navia.
Okay, if you say so. Not that we're members of Spina di Rasula anyway.
All merely trifling details. Never mind. Now, back to the situation at hand.
Why is everyone so dramatic in this stupid country? Do you want to investigate as well?
That's right. I've always kept an eye on the serial disappearance cases. My interest stems from a matter back from my father's time. Judging from the look of things, I find Linny an unlikely mastermind.
Really? We think so too! That's why we're looking for clues now. But how did you come to that conclusion?
Intuition, naturally. My unparalleled intuition.
Oh my god.
Okay, Hazel.
Do you know?
Hazel, oh yeah.
Do you know a detective by the name of Hazel?
Farina sure was quick to point the finger at Linny without any decisive evidence whatsoever.
Yeah, that's just who she is.
Yeah.
She's annoying. That's what she is.
That's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the justice had to interrupt her and ask if she was pressing charges just to keep her from getting carried away. Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And, of course, there was no way Farina was going to back down in that situation.
Sounds more like you just don't trust the Hydro.
Would you?
Well, what's your opinion? I must admit that she can be interesting at times, but liking her doesn't mean that I'll blindly agree with her.
Well, you put it like
All right.
that.
I've answered your question. Now, it's time you answer mine.
Wait a
Okay.
minute, did that answer count?
Well, I say it does. But don't worry, you won't hear any pointless questions from me. In your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like it's an opera?
No. Next question.
Well?
What do you mean not always? Never. It's always serious. Something serious like a trial should be treated like entertainment.
See, Silver and Malus? I told you they'd be different.
Most astute of you, demoiselle. I too think that the traveler's response was most excellent. No matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audience's
He got his hands on a
expectations may
thesaurus.
be,
These
trials
people
that
would
go
have
on stage
loved the
here
Johnny
must
Depp
be
versus
based
Amber
in
Heard
fact. That if
trial.
Oh my god, they would have.
All right, that's quite enough, Malus. Anyway, I like your answer. You passed with flying colors. Now,
This was a
I need
test?
to make some preparations, following which our joint investigation shall commence. You two shall be my assistants.
She reminds me of Mona. I don't know why.
No.
Oh,
It's her voice tone, I think.
I can be the assistant. Sure.
It's
Or your
Fontaine-esque.
companion, if you like.
Yeah.
I'm really not that fussy.
That's more like it.
And Valazine in the back.
You're missing. I missed the point too because I was eating cheese. Sorry.
Far be it from me to brag, but I believe that Demoiselle's intuition will be instrumental in uncovering the truth.
Let's call up Hazel.
You wish to save a friend from false accusations, and we wish to unravel the disappearances.
Got a
In
problem
this
you can't
sense,
solve?
our
Who
goals are
man?
aligned.
You have a point. Huh. You're quite the talker, aren't you, mister? And what about you over there? What do you
It's
think?
so funny.
You seem like you've got something on your mind.
I have nothing to add.
Alrighty then.
You're a big fan. I can see.
I
I'll
am.
be making some preparations first. Just be sure to let us know if they start revealing Linny's tricks.
I want to know the trick too. I think that would solve a lot of things right away. So I don't know why he can't just tell me. You were away, but like I asked for the trick, and he was like, okay, but that is a trade secret. And I had flashbacks to Danganronpa, where the magician girlie I just showed you, she refused to show you how the trick worked until the very end, because it would ruin the magic. I was like, girl, a person died! If we don't, and like Danganronpa, if you don't find out who the culprit is, you all die. Like everyone gets killed. It's either the culprit is caught and is then executed, or the whole class dies.
Oh my god.
It's a death game.
That'd be awful.
That was very annoying. Sorry. You know.
No, we're not leaving. We're representing Linny and Lynette as attorneys, so we're investigating the case. Were you always guarding this entrance?
Her hair is very zoomer.
Order, everyone coming in or out must undergo a strict inspection. So, the missing girl couldn't have left from here. At least, not from that point on.
What about during the show?
I doubt there was much opportunity then, either.
How can you be so sure,
Well, because I was in charge of security near the entrance at that time.
Did anyone else leave?
I couldn't see Linny's performance from here, which was quite a shame. Just my luck.
Trust me, you wouldn't have wanted to see it. Someone died.
I abandoned my post. I stayed put no matter how loud the applause was. If someone had so much as even approached the door, I would have noticed it.
Okay, so no one tried to leave.
We Melazines are good at that sort of thing, you know.
So, it's safe to say the girl couldn't have left through here. Alright, thank you for your help. This'll be useful.
This is very useful. So we know she wasn't like put in a sack and like transported out.
Yeah. We've checked everything of note here at the performance venue. Paimon wonders how Linny's discussion with the guards is going.
Understood. Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware, I will be monitoring your actions and making notes as necessary.
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull a rose out of my hat as a gift for you.
Linny, you can't get out this
with pleasantries. I'm just doing my job.
He's just trying to be pleasant. Take this stick out of your ass.
Who's this? Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a problem, I've got the firepower. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. Call me Navia.
Give more NPCs
we'll
sunglasses.
be helping investigate this whole situation. And these are my companions. Would you mind if they join as well?
Fine by me.
Lynette is just
new helpers. I would be most grateful.
Average day in the life. Nothing
hey,
new.
Linny, I'm right here.
We're tagging along. It's not every day you get to see the secrets behind magic performed on such a large scale.
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below stage.
Below stage? Uh-huh.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box, prepared specifically for this switcheroo trick.
There's probably
but
like a
before
tunnel.
I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here?
Strange where?
I'm not trying to be dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will help you understand the methods used to perform it more easily.
Huh. Were
Yeah.
there balloons and other decorations here? Where did all that go?
Was she in the performance?
Good eye.
I didn't see her.
That said, you're still far from discovering the answer.
The back of the door isn't the same.
The back? You mean the inside of the door? What's different about it? Paimon didn't notice anything.
Very good indeed. I thought you might not be able to catch that, given that you were sitting in the first row. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get?
There's another box inside this one.
Exactly. Alright, let's go. I'll tell you how it works as we head down.
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box!
You knew.
And this passage linked the 2 boxes together.
I knew you'd figure out most of it as soon as you saw this place. The 2 magic boxes are positioned right above the 2 entrances of the tunnel. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the other side using the trolley.
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the right direction.
I see. So that's the purpose of the box inside another box.
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along the trolley, all while the outer box would remain on stage as if nothing had ever changed.
So that's how you did it!
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device here, with which it would complete the rest of the steps. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and by the time she walked out, she would already be back on stage.
So someone probably nabbed her down here. And replaced person in the box. I'm curious if the guy inside the box was conscious.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. A
Don't worry,
photograph
it's all-
operated by Lynette was used to achieve that effect. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began, I had already gone to the opposite box via a tunnel using that ladder.
And what about Lynette? Where was she?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh, interesting!
That's how we were able to coordinate Linny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way, I was the one who walked out of the box at the end.
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who. And that's my favorite part of this trick. Only Lynette and I can perform it.
So that's how it all worked!
Well, let me process this for a second.
You revealed was more amazing than the
You know when,
rest.
like, well, Linny came out, like, just before we ended, he was like, oh no, that doesn't count. That was actually Lynette in Linny's outfit.
Oh!
The actual Linny was, like, on the other side of the route, like, in this tunnel, about to climb up. And then, like,
so that's
the
what
lines
they
of
meant.
the
I wasn't
speaker.
sure which box they meant.
Oh, no, the one on the stage. He was like, oh no.
Okay, but that was scary then. Lynette could have died.
Yeah, she could have been.
Okay, but then what about after? Because there was still another person then in the end. Did she climb out down too?
I can't remember now, actually.
Well, even
keep
if
going.
you remembered, I wouldn't want you to tell me. I'm just trying to think.
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping
Yeah.
into the tunnel and escaping before the box on the trolley could finish ascending. And then I walk out of the other box in the audience area, and the trick would be
So the
complete.
person was already in the
operative word
box
here
when
being
Lynette came down.
But as you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience member. She, on the other hand, mysteriously
So
vanished.
there's probably someone on the crew who is the culprit.
Yeah.
Since Linny was already at the other end of the room and Lynette was just climbing
Figured
down.
out how you pulled it off. And yet, to think that someone was able to use this magic trick to commit a crime. Could we have a look around? I think we can come up with
Girl
some more
has
leads.
never seen that one movie where the
This is the
magician
scene of the
group
crime.
commits a
So Linny and
major
Lynette are
bank
not
robbery.
permitted to stay here. I'll escort them back up.
Yes, of course. No need to be so strict now.
So sassy.
Into thin air, you know.
Thanks,
He should have been voiced by Bryce Peppenbrook.
Oh no. But to be honest, if he was, would you have absolutely folded and just
Yes.
been inconsolable?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would be crying right now. Okay.
First Hazo.
This should be the control device. Okay, I couldn't read it. It's okay. I know what they meant. The ladder. A ladder is required in order to return to the magic box above.
Huh. What's this?
Looks like a hook tied
Yeah.
to the end of a rope. Huh?
They didn't mention this earlier.
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick. But why would it have been left here?
Whatever it is, let's make a note of it first.
I'm not writing everything down because there are probably a lot of irrelevant things that they are presenting as important right now, but in the end they will be so irrelevant.
Yeah,
or like,
they're like
red herrings. Yeah.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
That's just
the power of water is its ability to take any shape.
One of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and then flip the jug over only for the water to disappear? And here's a broken vase. Huh. Did the trolley knock it down while moving?
That can't be. The trolley moves along tracks from start to finish.
There was someone
The vase at this
in a
distance.
hurry.
Let's note this down too and think about it later.
Or struggle. Clothing.
Oh, these are the clothes that the lady chosen from the audience was wearing, right?
Is it?
Her clothes are here, but she's
Oh,
nowhere
that's
to be
not
found.
good. Lily didn't mention the guest having a wardrobe change.
And do you really need to do that if you're...
That has very bad implications.
Yeah.
This is so confusing. Hannah doesn't want to be a detective anymore.
Someone needs to draw Hazo with those glasses.
No.
Halsey. Who is in control?
High precision is required to complete this magic show, and tracks are perfected. Yeah. It's not relevant. Storage box. All kinds of props and costumes are half-heartedly stuffed inside. A vent.
That's kind of sus.
The trolley is crucial for transporting the magic box to the other side. The culprit must have used this to execute their plan. Is there any other...
You have to examine the vent.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm just looking around.
No, I think you're all good.
What is this place?
Looks like a
It
vent.
seems someone could fit through here.
Yes, Silva. I totally agree.
The suspects escaped.
You're so wise.
Perhaps. But if they had to pull another person with them, the space would be too narrow.
But there are no other ways in or out of here.
Other than those that go through the magic boxes, and Linny and Lynette were in the 2 magic boxes.
Oh, you're right. Let Paimon write that down.
One person. Why is it unrealistic? You can just take a person, knock them out, and then drag them behind you.
Yeah.
But I guess it could be suspicious, since Lynette would be climbing down shortly.
Yes. Let's head back up.
Let's take a detour. Heading up.
Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns. Seems to me that there are several things that don't add up here.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the Opera House's basement.
And?
The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and no one was found hiding there.
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then. You know, like the kind you usually see in novels.
It would seem so.
Plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death are both quite inexplicable. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points toward Linny and Lynette.
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable progress.
Boy, your ass going to jail.
So if the charges are upheld, they'll announce a sentence?
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the Oratrice will hear statements from both sides.
Oratrice will too?
That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the Oratrice. To put it simply, it's as if the Oratrice has its own will, and is a judge in its own right.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. Not that this has ever happened anyway.
Fascinating.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the Oratrice as a reference. Then, finally, the Oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? I'm unbutton over let call the shots.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment, which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Huh? Why?
So we are holding the trial
because we've chosen to act
today.
as the twins' proxies.
Yeah,
that makes
well,
us persons related.
the next
Why
day.
have we not asked any of the other troop
They're
members?
concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead of time.
Can I just fight
I'm ready to
a
break out at any
duelist
time.
for Linny?
It's ready to break out.
Honestly, it would be easier.
That said, are they providing food?
Good question. Are they?
Yeah.
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is any guarantee of balance.
What if I'm lactose intolerant?
Imagine getting your shits right now.
Let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I was hoping to take you to try some of Fontaine's famous desserts, too. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all.
Paimon.
Just kidding, just kidding. Paimon will still do her best, even if there are no snacks.
I have snacks for you.
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks. If we cannot buy some, then we'll simply make some.
Huh? Here? But how?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Are we cooking right now? Guys,
Let us
be
cook.
be so for real right now.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
Rich people.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
He has eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready, guys.
Good work, you two.
What if I'm allergic to almonds?
Please sit tight for a moment.
Uh-oh.
You'll get to taste my awesome snack soon enough.
Then go into anaphylactic shock.
And Paimon thought it smelled
Bruh.
Those look busting.
Even better now. Paimon can't stop drooling. From the way you had these two guys carrying
They
all that
lost
stuff
me.
around, Paimon thought you'd have them do more during the baking process.
They really lost me just now.
But you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself. Beating the egg whites, grinding almonds, everything.
I was applauded.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Y'all are so sweet.
Thinking, aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty, beating egg whites and baking like this?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano.
Riding horses mentioned.
Really enjoy
Oh my god.
It's happening.
Weights, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat them to just the right consistency, or your macarons will crack. Anyway, give these a try. Fresh out of the oven. There's 3 for each of us.
Aren't you supposed to let them cool down?
They got faces.
Well,
yeah, they're usually eating quite like
might send
room
all that
temperature.
sugar to your head. You wouldn't be able to think
Honestly,
clearly about the case on a
macarons
sugar
kind of
rush,
suck.
would you?
Oh, no,
Tea
I
is
like
ready to
them.
be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite. Strong black tea with a floral fragrance that clears the mind and lifts the spirit.
Take a break, guys. Y'all are carrying this quest on your
need for
backs.
concern. I'm
Real.
merely doing as I should.
All right then. Down to business. As Paimon mentioned previously, the tunnel seems to be something of a secret chamber. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. Some criminal also occupied its sealed confines. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical motive.
Exactly. Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
They were left with 2 other people. The missing girl and the
The
deceased.
flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel.
Yes.
Resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
I guess.
That makes sense, but the real trouble is...
There's no evidence that this 3rd person even exists.
True. None of the clues we found thus far support the existence of this 3rd person. But the only people left to consider are both technically victims. Whether it's the missing girl, Halsey, or poor Cowl.
Cowl is kind of sus.
Secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder Cowl before making her escape?
See, this kind of the thing I was just thinking of, except I wasn't pinning Halsey as a criminal mastermind. I was just like, maybe she got scared because it's dark and the box is moving. I would get scared too.
Yeah.
So it could totally just have been that she like broke out of the box because she was scared and panicking. Something happened. Cowl ended up inside the box. She got even more scared because she probably was disoriented. I think Cowl was unconscious in the box before the accident happened. Something could have happened. She could have like knocked him out in her panic. And then she's like, oh shit, I killed him. Then she would probably try to escape. It's a theory. I don't think it's very probable, but it's a theory.
A game theory.
thanks for watching. And this is where I
Yeah.
end the video.
I'm not gonna tell you if you're right or wrong.
No, don't. I'm having so much fun. She had no way of knowing how the magic trick worked.
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick to pull it off. Nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never had any dealings with the magic troop's members.
Were we not thorough enough in our search?
It's hard.
From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible case. Your macarons are amazing though, Navia. They smell great! They're nice and crisp and super sweet.
I don't like their filling. They aren't as they seem.
They are my specialty after all. And I see you've already had 5 of them.
What?
These are big macarons though.
Can't be right.
Yeah, look at the size of her face.
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets might actually be a good thing.
No.
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how to count. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough.
If you ate them, you ate them.
Wait, even you don't believe Paimon?
It's not that deep, Paimon.
If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her stomach.
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too engrossed in our chat and eaten them by mistake. No big deal. Balloose, set up the stove
Except
again, if you would.
if there's something fishy going on.
What are you doing?
Which
Making
is
sure
what I
everyone
think
gets 3
they are
macarons, of course?
trying to hint at.
Yeah.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble you.
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
He has the egg, sugar, and almonds.
I love you, Silver. Please
Yes!
marry me.
Silver fan club.
Well, that's it for snack time. I'm going to have another look around the area.
Good idea.
Don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. As attorneys, I suggest the 2 of you think the case over again. It would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on stage during the trial.
All right. Thanks for your help and for the snacks.
It kind of sucks that Linny and Lynette can never perform this trick ever again after this trial.
Malus?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll be back if
Go
I
think
find
of another
anything
one.
new.
Give me more truth bullets.
All right. It's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial. Oh, it's probably gonna be a long and
Is it already
case.
trial time?
Yep, look at the thing.
Is it very
Change the
long?
time.
Here, take Paimon's notes. They should help you review the situation.
Are they very long?
Oh, you can only access the notes during like dialogue and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah,
No.
I think so.
Whoever
Oh,
the
never mind,
murderer
never mind.
was, this
That would suck.
Yeah.
Why would it be
That's
him?
there's some.
Yeah, you
There's one missing there.
Strange.
Is it supposed to be missing?
don't worry about it. I think I had a few missing ones.
I don't want any missing ones.
But I got through it fine, so I'd say just go for it. You can't.
No.
No.
That
Don't worry,
sucks.
Lenny's not going to drop dead to the floor because he didn't clear his name. It's okay. This is not Danganronpa.
I'm
Calm yourself.
traumatized.
Just change the time and go for it. Oh, maybe you can. I just didn't bother.
The hook. Yeah, I have just looked at everything though. Are they supposed to be missing, maybe?
I think you ever... oh, yeah, no, you uncover them later on, I remembered. I won't say why or how. You uncover them later on.
Ah,
Pretty
okay,
sure.
so they are like in Danganronpa when you connect more stuff and then you suddenly get a new truth bullet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Similar. I'm trying to be really vague about this.
I am nervous. There's like no one here.
The whole situation is so confusing.
Let's take things step by
Good
step.
plan. Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
She doesn't understand a lot.
Thanks, Navia.
No.
Well, we'll be going then.
Best of luck to you.
Am I going to enter an actual Danganronpa or Ace Attorney trial just now?
Finally, you're back.
This courtroom sucks.
Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Bro's about to go to jail.
Now, don't you all look disappointed?
Shut up.
Don't tell me that
No
your
one likes you.
investigation came up empty-handed. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence.
What is
Don't
about
let that stop
innocent
you.
until proven
I shall
guilty?
be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Just you wait.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident
You
is
just
now
peaked
in
my
session.
entire audio.
Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying.
How?
There is no way
Explain.
you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In
Is that your
fact,
evidence?
I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an
What is the
impression
point of
any
this?
kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Bro did not hear it.
Something's not right here.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Uh-oh.
Scales. Could those mean...
They probably represent the artery's stance on the trial.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
Dum dum dum. They're Fatui?
Yeah.
I really don't care.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flawless?
Bro.
Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy. Good thing
Sweetheart,
all those preparations.
I have 2 Fatui Harbingers as my friends.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Because it's irrelevant.
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true?
Are they true?
There's no doubt a magician's ability to con others. Given how Linny has concealed his identity, this could all have been set up beforehand. Plus, Child is here in Fontaine along with other house operatives. There must be some scheme at work here. I've been a victim of such schemes before, and now... Oh, he looks so sad! There's no way he did anything.
I'm sorry.
Robert.
Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it.
Going
That's
to
it.
jail.
Might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Permission to speak, Your Honor!
Granted.
He is just a baby. My client has withheld some key information. My defense cannot proceed.
In that case, what is your request?
I request a brief adjournment. There are things that must be discussed.
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
This is why you never treat a trial as an opera.
Attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order,
Ningguang.
order, I say. Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
I need to think about
you
myself
would
for a
stick
second.
to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought.
He is my client and my husband.
Let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
She's annoying. Her voice is annoying.
Her voice actor had Wrenchy though.
Oh, he's about to get scolded.
This is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up.
She found the government
I'm sorry,
files.
Traveler in Paimon.
What is your government name, Linny?
Yeah, sorry.
Lin Manuel Miranda?
I just knew where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't.
I get really annoyed at this though because the Traveler now turns all cold towards Linny because he's Fatui. But think of how the Traveler acts around Child. Like pretty normal.
He was actually like, hey, we're friends now. And we're literally friends with Scaramouche.
Yeah. And now the Traveler's just really annoyed at Linny. It's like,
we know that Scaramouche and Child are literal mass murderers.
But we're still like, oh my god, that's so silly.
We are
That's so
friends
freaky.
with the Raiden Shogun, who has
And Linny, some orphan magician, is
Yeah.
now our worst enemy. It's like, Someone's not adding up.
Hoyo writing team. I don't know.
I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just Hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to.
Whatever.
Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster.
Fatus is so funny.
All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
How could you say no to that?
You both did that, but...
Where did you actually go while the trick was being performed?
Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now.
Be nice to them.
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
And what did you find?
Nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
But why do you want to understand how the Oratrice operates?
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
I'm annoyed at this.
Yeah, the Traveler is very cold.
Like, we were just all buddy-buddy with Child, like, 2 hours ago. And now we're all like, Fatui, scum of the earth. Like, pick a side!
No, you're right.
I will defend you from these charges.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense.
We already have the key evidence we need.
Huh?
The adjournment almost over. Let's go back.
Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
Let's save Lyney from having to hold a prison wedding with me.
parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Based on opposition's account of events, you can identify loopholes in their statement. This is literally Danganronpa, I'm sorry. Use your reputations to convince the audience and obtain more support from the people, or just will display such shifts clearly. And finally, refute all incorrect content. You can complete the cycle of refutation and unveil the truth.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey,
The images are great.
which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that the sound could be heard by everyone.
I remember when they were leaked, everyone thought Linney was a killer. And we were like, what has he done in the past?
Not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linney red-handed. So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowell's death would be ruled an accident.
That assumes that they were counting on Cowell finding them.
And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of
Oh my
events
god, it's sick.
Linney experienced and what he saw.
Yes. Is it this one?
It's more than one.
Okay, well, his statement for this one.
Seems this won't produce a particularly effect.
No, I'm not sure. I'm gonna look
I'll
through
tell you, it's
evidence.
the first one, as in like the top circle. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to identify any loopholes in that.
Yeah, no shit.
In blue, it says Linney and Halsey's fight.
Yeah.
Identify the loophole and say there wasn't a fight because they didn't fight.
There's nothing against that, except for his statement. But that wasn't right.
According to
I'll leave you to
No,
it.
it's right.
event after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
I'm mad. I literally chose that.
Linney did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
There.
Linney went to the room that contains the aura traces.
That's why I was
core.
confused.
This is the actual truth.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say! When the countdown started, Linney did indeed go into the tunnel.
He looks so silly in the art style, especially the middle one.
Used a vent to access the Opera House basement.
He doesn't look as menacing
Underground core of the aura trees
as in Farina's story.
Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent.
Made. Wouldn't Hazel be so proud of us right now?
Yes.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that! Wasn't it awesome?
Oh, she's blushing.
In other words,
Aww.
you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
Moreover, I believe my opposition's reasoning is flawed.
My reasoning?
The onstage equipment was clearly tampered with in a premeditated fashion. However, you say that Cowell bumped into Linny by chance.
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're partners of mine. They've managed to turn things around. Oh, well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Do you happen to remember how you refuted Linny's alibi initially?
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't?
What? Is there a right option? Because I have never
No.
seen that symbol before.
Just shows it's going to take you to
Oh, okay. Irrelevant. Okay, these are irrelevant, so it's probably this?
That's right! Linny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel.
That's actually very nice of them to mark what is irrelevant.
Yeah.
In Danganronpa, I would have died by now.
Already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used.
Because you can, in Danganronpa, you can use any truth bullet at any time.
Oh.
And if you say something wrong, you will get your life deducted until you, like, die.
Oh no.
Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
The murderer was...
This took me forever. I don't know why.
The guard's investigation report indicates that the fireworks released near the end of the show and ignited and burned through the rope suspending the water tank above the stage. This caused the water tank to fall and kill Cowell in the box below. If Linny is no longer under suspicion, only the other members of the troupe would have been able to tamper with the props. Linny gave a detailed account of how the trick was supposed to work. By using a box inside a box, the idea was for the box containing the audience member to be transported across via a tunnel underneath, and Linny himself would also use this tunnel to get to the other side. Having changed her outfit, Lynette and her assistant would take charge of on-stage interactions. The clothes belonging to Halsey, the lady who went missing, were found in the tunnel. The reason for this remains unknown. Select any clue to view detailed information.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Yes.
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Or
No.
did she have her own scheme all along? Could there have been a third person involved? Is that really a possibility?
I still think it was
The
Cowell.
deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant.
Yeah, go for it.
He
I'm so smart.
All those Danganronpa trials have like trained you for this moment.
Yeah, this is. Imagine you get an attorney appointed at your trial, and they are like, "Don't worry, I've played all the Danganronpa games."
I'd know I was in good hands.
To be fair, those are very hard.
Yeah.
Let's hear your reasoning then.
Yep.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
How can we admit Lenny as having been unable to interfere with the crime?
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances, so where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey?
Okay, so
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time.
he was not in the
It would have been
tunnel.
tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well.
Lenny
The sound we
heard
may have come
something,
from a clash,
and no one
entered
left.
or left the Opera House through its entrances.
Wait,
The
hold
sound
on.
we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal.
Huh? Okay, hold on. Altercation in the.
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. No one entered or left the Opera House through its... It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well.
Who's the prime suspect currently?
The
Cowell.
deceased's name is Cowell.
Where did the missing? I don't fucking know. Where did the missing Halsey go? She must be still in the building since no one left.
Entered or left.
I'm just gonna try. No. Okay. Those two were wrong. The
Halsey's
dress?
clothing was in the tunnel.
Maybe?
Random bullshit go.
It would have been tough for both people.
No, I don't know.
So those are the ones that are wrong. You've got those two right.
Yeah, I know. I know.
The sound we heard may have come from a clash between...
I guess. And then...
The sound we heard may have come...
Can I put the same at the same... No, I
The
can't.
sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing...
So this one's
Halsey's
the
clothing
dress,
was in the
then.
tunnel.
I don't... That can't be right. With the crime at his disposal. The strange noise could likely have been the sound of Cowell and Halsey struggling. Lenny was not in the tunnel for 1 minute. This would have given time for Carl to bring Halsey out of the magic box and the audience stands. But according to the guard's testimony, no one entered or left the opera house, so even if he had taken her, there'd be no means of exiting. Exiting from the box would have been in the full view of the audience, pretty much guaranteeing they would be discovered.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
Where did Halsey go?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from the truth.
Girly doesn't consider that if no one left or entered, that means even if Linny did kidnap Halsey, where the fuck did she go?
Poof! Gone.
Poof! She just disappeared.
Look.
Yeah, she went to the plane of Euthymia. Yeah. She's chilling with A.
Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
Nicolette in the background.
If only we knew how Gaza disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
I had an idea, but I don't want to say it because it sounds stupid.
Go on.
I just thought about the whole dissolving into water thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there was water in the tunnel, but
yeah,
that's not a satisfying end.
Could be. Keep going.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the
Shut up! This is life and death.
Uh-oh. Oratrice like that.
If the defense is unable to make further effective
I think the
arguments, we
Oratrice
will move on
is
to the next
very
stage of the trial.
biased.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Objection.
Was not in the tunnel at that moment.
Or hold on,
Which gave our criminal ample time.
Fuck, what kind of Danganronpa fan am I if I don't know what the canon is in Danganronpa? I don't remember. I need to look it up because I will cry. That's wrong.
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
Oh.
That's wrong. Lily was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time.
The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
The water.
So the vase was not broken by chance. It was used to cover important evidence. The water.
Way.
Oh my god, I'm so smart.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water...
Just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick.
I request we examine Cowell's personal effects. We might find something there.
Must we really? I should think that of any
anyone, your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two completely different things.
Even so, I trust the Traveler's judgment.
Take a shot.
The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make sense. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased.
I love his eyes. They're just...
We are still examining the items, but we have
I
already made
think I
critical
understand why
progress that we
the
feel must be
Oceans
shared with
don't
everyone
like the new
post-haste.
Archon.
We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled.
Are you one of
separately.
the haters?
I am.
The notebook
Yeah.
in his backpack
She's very
claims that
annoying.
these fluids are water from the primordial sea.
The
Dun,
primordial
dun,
sea.
dun.
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged
I
to an
love hearing the
organization that sells
orators at
illegal
like
drugs, and
random
that he had an
times.
accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times.
They
One of these
dissolved
tubes
her?
was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty.
Look at Silver.
The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is
Albedo would gobble
fact,
this up.
supported
Imagine
by
him finding
sufficient
that out.
evidence.
You've got to be kidding.
He'd
People
conduct
dissolving
all sorts of
into
tests.
water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some
God,
surprising
she's see
results.
me right now.
But we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all.
How does that fit
Let's
in?
think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
Mm-hmm. Who's the prime
The
suspect?
deceased's name is
Cowell.
So he's the prime suspect.
What item did the culprit use to control the timing of the dissolution? What is a dissolution? Please define for me.
So like basically being dissolved.
Okay.
Dissolution.
I remember there was something else.
No, not that it.
Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. Did she?
I guess
Now
the
it
hook.
seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism.
Nah. I don't know. Can I switch over to something else? I guess the water.
From the primordial sea should...
Yeah.
What item did the cult use to hide the mechanism behind the crime?
The rope that held the water tank up.
And then I guess the
if it's an item, it'd be that. Yeah. I can't actually remember this bit. No, it's just that rope.
Lynette was in the magic box on stage. I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box.
I'm gonna try this one.
Yeah. Oh, look at you go.
I have my thinking hat on. I haven't thought this much in a while.
In the original plan, Cowl would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually
How did he end up in the
confusing pieces of
box?
evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person? What a humiliation.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
Oh.
On that note, the guards have just
His
contacted me indicating
tendrils
that they
are,
uncovered
are
new
so
evidence.
goofy.
I shall now invite him on stage
I'm
to share it
sorry.
with us.
He is. I'm kind of growing. He's
Your
kind of growing on me,
We were
but those
just inspecting
tendrils,
the
they
luggage
are
of the other people
horrible.
involved in this case.
Oh, I'll take
And
it.
we found an
Leave that little guy
identical
alone.
sample from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
He's a little otter.
That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how wonderful.
Oh, come on
To
now.
have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you. Does this not clear all doubt? My
Those can
dear
clearly be planted, but okay.
loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close. Lenny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization. Am I right, Mr. Linny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
Jail wedding coming soon.
There has to be something. I mean,
Seems using the water as new evidence gotta move. Why did this have to happen now?
I think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move... Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh no, I love this voice.
Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Linney, if you would be so kind.
What in the world is she saying?
She's gonna be
Offense,
naked
miss,
too.
But miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Linny and Lynette. Give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements.
Trust in Silver.
But as the magic makers and stars of the show,
He will carry
the
this.
final performance.
He will.
I understand.
I don't think Lynette understands. She looks very confused.
And voila.
Oh, now she knows what she's doing. She's alive!
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't
Oh,
true
thank
after all?
God, that would be so stupid.
I'm here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowl. I admit it.
What? Why?
This wasn't in the script.
My name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt.
It's always
I heard
the
that Linny's
Germans.
show was going to be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there.
Do you remember
And
her?
I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the
Did
harbor
I?
a few days ago, and I
She was the
barely got
thief.
away. Lenny was
Oh.
the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief. Liddy even mentioned that you were
She's
pretty
just
skilled.
NPC
Well, and I thought
number
at the end of it,
5063.
shows me.
I don't remember her.
He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was on to me for sure. So
Oh, it looks
I
so
played
fine.
along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box.
Girl boss.
There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
I guess.
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down.
It's very small.
Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
It's time to refute the Hierarchon's previous
This
reasoning.
time, we need to tell the entire story from Lily Ann's perspective.
Alright, final one. Let's go.
The strange... The flower vase was not broken to
You're
cover
really good at
anything.
this. I
It
had
was
like loads of
smashed
failed
during the
attempts.
struggle between
I
Lily
mean,
Ann
it's
and
not
Cal.
that hard, to be honest.
Oh.
If you pay attention.
I was though. Or maybe I was too busy staring at the villa, I'll be honest. But you know what? I'm not gonna blame myself.
Lily Ann was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. Just what one might expect of an experienced thief.
Zach went off. He saw he had a few lines recorded and he went for it.
Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked. Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box.
You basically had it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything.
It's always the one theory I think is very improbable, but it's like my crack theory. It's always like this. It's actually...
I don't know how he did it though, because there were so many other like twists before that. That was the end result, like not even the next one.
I guess it's really the Danganronpa experience. And Danganronpa's always like come up with as many theories as you can think of, and one of them is guaranteed to be right.
So she swiped two of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Shut up.
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements?
Give up. Give up. Give up, girl.
Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
Is she really the Archon?
My mind now?
They got such a funny dynamic.
No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow. Look at that. She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events.
I'm listening.
The
Let's
actual
hear it
perpetrator
again.
of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent. While there is much in Linny and Lillian's case that should still be investigated separately, this case at least can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision.
Star Rail wishing system.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Man, a prison wedding would be so metal though.
Great work, partners.
One day.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Let's not celebrate just yet.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes?
Gas.
I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
What is Coupon Town?
I was just following orders.
I still don't know.
You were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
The higher-ups? Who?
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the
So it's just
idea.
drugs.
I mean, this is the boss we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disturbing. He turned into
no, we're gonna have like live stabbings. We're gonna
watch playable characters be burned at the stake.
I shouldn't have expected any
Yeah,
less.
bet you the first one will be child.
Outrageous act. All
Because he's
present,
ginger.
Please submit to inspection immediately.
My God, I'm Max. However, nothing is found in the scene apart from the liquid left behind after moon dissolved. Okay.
That song just now kind of sounded like Signora's boss theme.
Yeah. Yes.
It's solved.
True, but
I
We can go home.
swear to God, Traveler. I am.
Oh no.
Ether, I love you
Talk
so
to the
much.
back.
Ether, I
Talk
love you
to the
so
back.
much. You're being so unreasonable right now.
Go on.
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui.
We're square.
I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave?
Father is Father Chino.
I know.
She's
Oh,
your
you knew.
father?
Yes, obviously.
That's right. And since
Wasn't
we're
sure.
here,
Wasn't sure.
I was
I
wondering,
think it's very much known
mind
that the
hearing a
Knave,
story?
Arlecchino,
It's about
is
my past.
the one who
Back when
runs
our
the
parents
House of
first
Hearth.
died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of
That
who your
is
assistant
fucked
is,
up.
yes?
I know. It's awful.
So he was gonna...
She was just trafficked.
Wouldn't Fontaine's
Yeah.
laws deal with
Like,
such
casually.
As far as outsiders are concerned,
So yeah, when
this
I
is a
said
relationship akin to
when you asked if
adoption
this is
or
foreshadowing, I
foster
said no, it's like sort of
care. They have
referencing
their
it.
ways of escaping the eye of the law.
Villains.
I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
She was so iconic for
She'd
that.
already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans.
I know. It's so messed up.
Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer.
Honestly, it's such a girl boss move to make them call you
The House of
father.
the Hearth welcomes you,
Yeah.
for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here.
I don't
was
blame them,
hesitant to
honestly.
trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
Probably.
She has her own plans.
That sounds
She has
probable.
gained permission from the Sarita to first use the Gnosis' power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in
I'm
that
on the knave
prophecy
side,
too?
to be honest.
That's right. The whole House of the
I
Hearth
mean,
is
I
currently
was
working to
never
combat that
completely
crisis.
against the Fatui.
No, neither.
I guess they
Today's
have
case
their
has also
own
proven that people
agenda,
from Fontaine can
but I
indeed
don't think
dissolve
they are
into some
all
sort of
necessarily
water,
bad
thus further
people.
supporting the prophecy.
No.
Or like they are bad
All
people,
of
but
us
they
house
don't
members here,
always
Lady
do
Arlecchino
bad shit.
herself included, are from Fontaine.
Yeah, like look at Capitano. He's so
We won't
cookie.
give up on defending our homeland.
I know.
To us orphans, the only
He
connection
definitely
we have
owns
left
cats.
to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
Right, Ether still doesn't completely trust Child, so I'll give him that.
It's alright.
Yeah,
I understand.
I guess.
The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house,
I just
have never
can't
stopped
really
making my own
understand
decisions, and that I believe
why
what I'm doing is right.
he would
If you
mistrust
should need anything
some
at all in the future,
lower
feel free to
Fatui
find me.
like Linny, who is not a
I will do
harbinger.
my best to help you. As plain
Like
Linny.
how he would mistrust him more than a fucking harbinger.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Sounds kind of fishy.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye bye, Linny. We'll see you at our wedding.
Bye, Linny.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so, too?
I'm sorry, Navia.
What's wrong, my dear partner?
I wasn't necessarily looking into the serial disappearances case.
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah.
I'm sorry. I feel bad now.
I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too.
Aw, I'm sorry.
It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
If you say so.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, count Paimon in!
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the Court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell